Save the dates! Save the dates! Won't somebody please think of the dates?
Hi, I'm Melissa.
And I'm John, and welcome to Paper Truly. Today we're talking about save the dates, what you need to know about them, how to tie them into your wedding theme, how to have fun with them. And so let's start off with a few things that are really important to know about save the dates. First, save the dates are totally optional, but they're super useful. You know, you want to send out save the dates well in advance of the main invitation. So let's say you're doing a destination wedding, that could be as much as 9 to 12 months before, or if you're doing a wedding that doesn't involve quite as much travel, 4 to 6 months in advance. They're really useful if you need to get the information out there and maybe don't have every single last piece of your wedding details finalized. One detail you want to be sure you have finalized, though, is your guest list, at least as close as possible this early in the planning. But having your guest list, you want to be sure that if they get a save the date, they also get a formal invitation to the wedding. That's just kind of basic politeness there. You know, save the dates don't have to be very complicated. I mean, certainly I think we've all seen the photo card with a nice engagement photo of the couple and their names and the location and, you know, the date itself, of course. And so there are 4 W's that you have to keep in mind. Who, what, where, and when. Keep those in mind. Be sure that information is on the save the date. And that's about all you need on the save the date itself. You know, and they're not just for weddings. Certainly we've seen these used for any other big celebration like a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah, or maybe it's a big anniversary party. Basically anything where you want people to know well in advance that this celebration is coming up, but also that you have a formal invitation that's going to follow. Now, we have seen over the years a lot of couples that are very intent on every piece of paper in their wedding matching a certain theme. And so, Melissa, why don't you take us through some save the dates that also match in theme with an invitation?
So here we have 2 examples. This one is our Wizarding World themed invitation set. So we have the save the date here that looks like the train ticket that you would, you know, have your train ticket to go to the school.
On an adventure.
On an adventure. And then here the invitation is the map that folds out and has lots of details in there. So conceptually, this works really well because the ticket is like the precursor to the event, and you need the ticket to attend the rest of the event, sort of. So that works really well together conceptually. Here we have our newspaper and telegram set, which is very 1920s, 1930s, but sort of general vintage themed, which is very popular. So here's our telegram set, which has the photo. So it still includes the photo with the names and dates on the side. And then you've got the telegram below that has all the details, like they're printed on a vintage telegram. And then the invitation part of this one is like a vintage newspaper, and it has lots of articles with lots of informational details, but also personal details, love story, and that kind of thing. So these pair really well together.
Cool. You know, one thing we've discovered over the years is that nobody plans a wedding in a vacuum. You and your future spouse have a certain idea of what you want your ceremony to be like, but then of course your mother and your future mother-in-law might have a certain idea of what they expect your ceremony to be like. And so that could mean that maybe some of you or all of you want very formal, very traditional ceremony with a very traditional invitation, but perhaps you want to find a way to let your fun side out. And that's where save the dates can come in because, well, you can have a lot of fun with a save the date that isn't at all tied into the theme of your wedding. So Melissa, why don't you show us a few ideas and some inspiration for some non-traditional save the dates that don't have to be tied into a wedding theme?
Well, we have 3 very different designs here for save the dates. Our first one is still very classic, a little bit traditional, but it's very, the design is traditional, but the style is very different. The layout is shaped like a champagne bottle. It's got this lovely foiling at the top. This one is very good to use if you are getting married like on New Year's Eve, or even if you want to use the new year as your time frame for putting the save the dates out, and that would be very memorable. The second one here is very fun and very interactive. So this is our decoder spyglass save the date, where you need to use the glasses to see the message below.
Ooh, gimme.
John's going to demonstrate.
Ooh.
It's really fun. This one's actually really simple. It's just a card, but it's got the glasses, so it has a very interactive element to it. This one is also very interactive and very different, but it has sort of still kind of the classic, like it's just a card. It's also letter pressed, which is a very lovely high-end effect there. But it comes with this little balloon that is tied to the card. And so the guests will pull the balloon off and fill it up with air and get the details on the card. And they can also let the kids punch it around in the air. So that's very, very interactive and very fun.
And that's a key thing. You want your save the dates to be eye-catching, especially if you're doing something extremely non-traditional like this. You want your save the dates to be eye-catching, memorable, things that your guests are gonna leave on the fridge, or maybe their kids are gonna play with, like the balloon or like the decoder or something else like that. So that's a great piece of having a great save the date. Now, there are some common pitfalls that we've seen with save the dates, things that you have to watch out for. You know, you want your save the dates to be clear, because they have a defined purpose. You want the right information on there, and you want that information to be clear. That means, you know, if you are doing a photo card, that means having the right photo. That means having the right choice of font over that photo so that the names are clear. It's easy to read, it's attractive, it looks good, it's nice to hold. All those sorts of things that we talk about in other places apply to save the dates. You also don't want to have too much information on there. You know, this isn't your main invitation, so you don't need to have like RSVP information. You don't need to have meal choices. You don't need to have attire info, that sort of thing on there. But if you do want to put your URL for your wedding website on your save the date, that's perfectly fine, because you can put all your extra information on the wedding website. And of course, you may want to say something like formal invitation to follow. Now, another thing is you don't want to forget the +1s. Don't forget your +1s. We've talked about having your guest list pretty much finalized when you send the save the date. You don't want to forget the +1s because, of course, you said, you know, formal invitation to follow, and you want to send invitations to everyone that also gets a save the date. So don't forget the +1s. Any last notes on save the dates?
I think just that they save the date.
Just that they save the date. Easy
That's the
as
most
that.
important part.
Hey, thanks for watching. Click the link below to get our videos in your feed every 2 weeks. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest at PaperTruly. You can find our shop at papertruly.com. And hey, leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think about this series. If you have some questions about Save the Dates, we'd love to answer them. We love helping folks as they plan their perfect celebrations. Again, you can find us on social media, and you can find our shop at papertruly.com.